Hello guys, hope you're well. I'm here today at Holts picking up a load of stuff for some friends, some clients, because there's been two major auctions. You'll have seen the large videos. This is just a quick one. I've got Nick. Nick is going to talk us through how the sale did. I can give you a quick summary on that it went well from their perspective. The value of side-by-sides is up. He'll tell you all about that. Then we're going to talk quickly about some unsold lots, but most of the reason I'm here, apart from to pick these up, is to look at some of these. And here's a little taster for you before we go any further. Look at that Damascus. Have a look at some of these guns, and then we'll do some more talking. So actually, before we speak with Nick, I would like to show you a couple of the cheapest guns that I've found, or cheaper guns I've been handed. As you've kind of figured out by now, a gun doesn't have to be absolutely top drawer for me to be interested, but it must be interesting. And these two guns are extremely interesting. And then we'll go speak with Nick, and then we'll come and talk about two of the more beautiful guns in the sale that haven't been catalogued yet. This is the Fenian by P.V. Kavanagh and Sons. This, I think, is going to be the next sealed bid around the £200 mark. One of the last ever shotguns made in Ireland. It is made around the 1950s. Around the 1950s, was made for about 10 years. You have a pad, a fairly unexotic walnut stock that goes into a really thin grip, twin triggers. I believe the front one, no, it's not sprung, it's just a horrible, it is sprung, just the spring's broken. And then you have this insane deep action. So just to be clear, what you have here is safety, safety off, bang, bang. And then this is where it gets really interesting. Push this lever on top, that bridge comes up and the action starts coming forward. All the way forward. You would load your two cartridges into the chambers directly. On bringing it back, these extractors actually hold the cartridges on these firing faces. And then as you move the gun forward, that should knock the bottom off and the top off, ejecting them, or knock them out, I suppose, if they do get stuck. What a wild action design. And if you want to see something really wild, look at the engraving of patents applied for inside there. Like, we're talking a super utilitarian gun here. And it's nicely made. It's pretty agricultural, but it is nicely made to stretch. It's made. There are many worse things in the world than this, but this is particularly interesting. I have never seen one before, and that has got to count for something. Just the way that it clips together. The forend is insanely deep, obviously, to house all of this. As that comes in, you have your barrels are free floating, connected by one bridge, two separate side ribs at the front, and locked into the monoblock at the back. The rib is held on by the little bridge there and a screw at the front. It is a very interesting gun. We were saying to one of the guys here earlier that they kind of figured out how to make guns by a certain point in history. I would have thought in the 50s the concept of an over and under was kind of clear, but you think it probably wasn't. Yeah, Browning had it superposed and Boss had its system out, and Perazzi started in the 60s. So there wasn't a great deal of over and under stuff out there. But this was. And this is cool, and you could get this in the next Holt sealed bid. That in itself is epic. And that's why I love the sealed bid, because you can get little bit nuggets of history of that. You never know. Between now and then, they might convince themselves to put it in the main sale just based on uniqueness. This, based on uniqueness, is in the main sale. And this gun is properly interesting. And here she is, a Wesley Richardson Co. 170 New Bond Street, London. Well, what is exciting about this is a lot. Starting at the back, you have this steel plate here with a tiny inlet on top, first indicator of age, as I say. The stock is actually a really beautiful piece of wood. I mean, when I tell you how old it is and what it is, it will appear completely pointless. You have flat point coarse checkering on the grip, a gold oval fairly high versus the long trigger tang there. You have a fairly unexciting looking from the outside box lock action. Splinter forend, coarse checkering, horn tip, slightly scalloped top rib with gold inlaid Wesley Richards & Co, New Bond Street, London, and Damascus barrels. So why is this interesting? Well, this is why. I'm going to take this off. You see in the front here, the single hoop, the single bite, and these little pieces out the front here. And then we have a look at this. Firstly, it comes with the authentication certificate from Wesley Richards to certify that Wesley Richards 13020, which is this gun, is recorded in our ledgers as a double-barrel hammerless 16-gauge shotgun built for Colonel Powell Esquire, completed in 1877. And you've got a copy here, a photocopy of the diary entry for what this gun was. Here's where it gets really interesting, is that the Anton & Dealey box lock original patent was in 1876, and very likely this is the 80th ever gun, the 80th ever Anton & Dealey gun, certainly by Wesley and Richards. This was made shortly after box locks became a thing. We're all aware of this Wesley Richards style now. It's a very, very common looking thing. We can recognise it, but wow, what a piece of history. Absolutely stunning. And for anyone into their older guns and would like one for a collection, this will be in the next sale. I know a lot of people who are going to be in love with this. You don't get any earlier, that's for sure. Unfortunately, the downside is it's not a shooter. The barrels are not in the best of order. It is not a shooter. This is just a beautiful piece of collectible history, which is a shame on top of that, because actually in the hand it feels exceptional. Anyway, enough fawning over a gun that in reality is only worth a few £100, but because of what it is, we'll probably go for a bit more than that. On to Nick. Nick's going to tell us all about the results from this June-July 2021 sale. Enjoy. Nick Holt of Holt Auctioneers, ladies and gentlemen. Do we clap you?
No, you do not clap me.
All right, so please tell us about how the last auction went from the outside.
So we're ready, are we? We're happening.
Oh, we're filming.
Are we?
Oh, yes.
Amazing.
That was a nice intro. That was a.
It was. I was very impressed.
Humorous link.
Very impressed with it. Right. I just wanted to say our recent sales have done so well. So I just want to say thank you to everybody out there for taking part. And a lot of it happened because of the COVID and all that stuff up there on the web. Our total with the seal bid and the last main sale, which was 2 weeks ago, we did 1.7 million. Wow. Just what it says to me, which is so good, is that the product which we love, and
this sort of beautiful thing.
Yeah, they have Woodward. This is
particularly beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not our enthusiasm, because we have only got a certain amount of cash. It's the whole world, and they just lapped it up. I mean, I think we had 1 million buyers. We had which my poor girls are having to trying to cope with at the moment.
Say 1 million buyers.
Million people interested. The buyers, to be honest with you, were the actual people who took actually one was about 2,500. But the people out there, we had 2.5 million people looking at us in a week. Wow. In a week. I don't know if anybody else does what we do, but I know they do. They, of course, I've got competitors.
Not quite to this scale.
Not quite. Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably a little bit of the truth. There aren't many of us around. So yeah, if you become a big boy in a very, very small commodity, then you become a huge boy. I mean, I remember my father saying to me right from the beginning when I started to be a gunsmith when I was 18, when I did my apprenticeship. He said, "Look, Nick, all I can say to you, obviously you want to make money. What I can say is to you, specialise in a small commodity, and then you will become a wanted commodity." And that's exactly what's happened. You know, there's not a lot of us out there who shoot, but those who worldwide, there's quite a few. You are right. But if I can, so look, the figures I've just given you. Out of the 2 days, we did 1.7 million, including the seal bid. The nice things for me to see were the old 303 SMLEs. A majority of them, of course, have been used by our boys out in the trenches in the First World War, and then, of course, secondly, the Second World War. But mainly they were used in the First. And I just love seeing that the young mentality getting interested in our past and wanting to know a little bit about what our boys actually got up to out there, and how the SMLE Enfield 303 was one of our saviours. Because, okay.
That was the Americans.
That's another conversation for another day. But let's just stick to our boys, yeah?
Yes,
but you are absolutely right. Of course you will.
So what was that split between main sale and seal bid?
The seal bid was £400,000, which is pretty good. And it's not our biggest, but it's our second biggest. And it's stuff which I originally created this thing because it was stuff I couldn't really sell in London because nobody really wanted it. I didn't think.
Nobody in London wants a bagel.
Yeah, strange that, no. Let's just quickly go on to a couple of unsolds, or
Yes.
one unsold.
One unsold.
One unsold I have here.
Which you can bid on the website after the sale if you lose out on what you wanted.
Yeah.
It's like the consolation prize.
It is slightly, yeah, I suppose it is. But I'm not quite sure why it didn't sell. I mean, the price is quite a lot of money, but for what it is, it's not a lot. I mean, it's a Royal Brevis Holland. Now, the Brevis was made to compete against the Churchill 25. The Churchill 25, dear old...
one of these, that is.
Yeah, E.J. Churchill, Edwin Churchill, created this all about quick-moving grouse and partridge shooting over the hedges on the moors. So you didn't want long barrels. So
wasn't the concept that he went pigeon shooting, blew the end off his gun, chopped it off, live pigeon shooting, and went out and shot, or is that a fallacy?
No, it's not. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's it.
And then everyone went, "Oh, you can win a world champ." I'd like one of the major shooters to do that now. Go out with their Krieg, for the sake of the thing, blow the end off, chop it to 24 inches, and go and win a world championship. And everyone go, "That's it, hacksaw time. No choke, no length."
That's exactly how it happened. And so this was produced thanks to him, Mr. Churchill, and then Mr. Holland, Harris Holland,
wanted a piece of the action.
Suddenly decided, well, hold on a second, has he got something there? Maybe we should produce what they called a Royal Brevis, which has got 26.5 inch. Now, I think the reason why he went slightly different to the 26.5 inch was always because of the Continentals, because it sounded better in centimetres, because they deal in centimetres rather than inches. So
incorrectly.
Incorrect. Well, I'm not possibly saying. So what you've got here is a Royal Brevis 26.5 inch. Now, most people will say, "Oh God, that's a bit short." But as I've just described, our friend here, Churchill, really came up with the idea for a quick moving. You're just standing by the edge of the hedge up there. The partridge come over. It's quick. It's quick. And of course, you're not going for a 60-footer up there. You're going for low as they come over the hedges. So
I think there's many people that would consider 60 foot quite fashionably and modernly.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
It would be called an average bird in the modern world.
Yes, I suppose it
I
would.
know you're from Norfolk. Nick.
Okay, all right, 60 metres.
Oh, there you go. That's more like it.
But yes, you are right. I am from Norfolk.
Yes.
Now look, we've done that.
Out of interest,
Yeah.
In the post-sale, does the estimate remain the same or does the estimate go down?
No. What happens is, really, it's for those people who missed out for whatever reason.
Yes.
We don't lower the estimates or the reserves. We do, however, if the gun doesn't sell through the Unsolds, it will go back into the next auction, which happens to be in September. And I've got a date here of the 20th and the 21st of September. And the deadline is the 15th of August. And the sealed bid, we haven't spoken about that yet, but that's on the 30th of September. The Unsolds will go into the September sale and they will be slightly reduced, but only slightly. Because I've got to be honest with you,
most of the time it's just they were somebody's second choice.
Yeah, the guns are worth the money.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't feel it's very clever.
No, and to be fair, you had, like 24 Holland and Hollands in this sale?
May have done, yes. But you're about right. So we had a lot of Holland.
So it's probably... Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Unsold lots exist, both for this and the sealed bid. Don't get this. Unsold lots also exist for the sealed bid for people. Right?
So sealed bid is just the lower end of them. I hate to say the lower end of the market, but
society.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But if we go into our next sale in September, there is something magical which has come in. Now it's not particularly valuable, but
it's not valuable either.
No, but it's just the beauty of it is it was put together as a presentation piece for a Liège Belgian maker, just to say, look, this is what I can do. So if you'd like me to replicate this in your name, I'm quite happy to. Here it is. It's this Augustus Francotte, little 12 gauge, non-ejector, so nothing very fancy. But then you look at the Damascus barrels.
I must admit, when we saw it last time and weren't allowed to film with it because it was in this next sale, I was a bit heartbroken. It's so beautiful.
It's stunning, isn't it?
It's unlike anything I've ever seen before. The Damascus is just stunning.
It stops your breath a bit. And the more you look at it, the more you see. It's just beautifully done.
The rib is just wild. That's like a scalloped rib, but with the way that it's filed up it's stunning. The engraving is very nice. Everything about it is...
what it is,
delightfully continental.
Delightfully continental, but it is a presentation piece.
So by presentation piece, the best he can do.
Correct.
Pretty much.
So he probably didn't even sell it. He probably kept it on his stand to say, look at this. This is what I can do. You know, this is my work.
Is the company still about today?
Ivan de Stoop in Liège owns Augustus Francotte. Are they still around? Yes, I think they are, but small.
Yes. Still producing this level?
Blah, blah, blah. Good question.
Different.
Yeah. I mean, my God, I daren't say that I'm not sure you've got people around today to actually produce Damascus like this, because it's earth-shatteringly good.
It's mastery of the art, and this was made
18.
Quite a few years after Damascus disappeared.
Oh yeah, no, it was. Yeah. No, it was. You're absolutely right, boy.
This is making it for the sake of making it.
Yeah, just because I can.
Yes, because it's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's a non-ejector.
So
it's a box lock. Why would you put everything, all your health, all your your life and your value to yourself in a box lock non-ejector?
Because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it would be actually less beautiful in a side lock. I think we could probably agree with that.
And that's why I think probably it was made not to be used. It was made as this is what I can do. Of course you can.
Value-wise,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not got a lot on it from what I'm understanding.
No, I don't think it has. I think the value we put on it is 800 quid. 800 quid. To own
It will
this.
go for more than that, I think we would all agree.
Oh, I'd be so upset if it doesn't. I mean, it's deserves to. It really does.
It's like gun lover's gun. It really is.
It's a gun which I mean, you look at the safety. You see that? There's a little detail there.
130-year-old best part of.
To now, the safety's off. The safe is on, as you can see. It's a little cutaway, so you can see the word safe.
Beautifully regulated as well. Just feels smooth. It is an absolutely spanking gun.
And what will you do? Little marks there. What will you do? You'll take it out for one day, shoot five or six birds, and then put it away again. But I mean, it comes. It sounds so nice, doesn't it?
You can feel the quality when you pick it up. It is beautiful.
But just a box lock non-ejector.
Yeah, we say that. There was that Lang & Hussey in the last main sale, side lock non-ejector, and that sold for 1,600 quid.
I know.
Just because it's beautiful.
It's not.
I think
It's walking away from the modern day stuff of the over and unders, which are killing machines.
Most people have a killing stick.
Yeah.
This is a different thing, so you might as well have a different thing.
Yeah. Please keep tuned into TGS. They are bloody good news to us, and I think these little things we do, which I don't know, we've had quite a good hit rate, haven't we?
Not bad.
And
people like watching pretty guns, and you have quite a few.
well, they do
And you
seem
let us
to.
film, which is nice.
Anyway, thank you so much. I'll leave you alone.
So 2 more guns before we finish, mostly because at this stage they've just finished the last sale. Cataloguing for the new sale has just begun. So actually there's only a few things that are in the next catalogue already. This isn't one of them. Or maybe it is, who knows. This is a Alfred Bitthoff of Dusseldorf. Quite often you see German guns and there's a lot going on. This one there's a lot going on, but it is also absolutely stunning. I think estimate on this is around the £2,500 mark, in that ballpark. So it's not an overly expensive gun. Look at the wood. What a beautiful, beautiful piece of wood. It is stunning. As nice a piece as you could ever want. Lengthwise, it's fairly good too. It's got a lot of drop on it and a fairly steep angle. So actually, it's not bad. Like it fits like a side by side. Probably should. A lot of drop, bit of cast, nice, flat, sweet. Look at the checkering. That checkering is what? 32, 34 lines per inch. Superbly fine. Just a nice display of the gunmaker's art. The drop points, the stock, the carving, everything about this, the woodwork is beautiful. And then you move on to the metalwork. The mixture here of deep carved engraving and the slightly finer line scribe style, really beautiful. There's some nice depth, it's quite bold, but they haven't gone over the top with the carving. Looking at the safety tang there, you've got the beautiful acanthus and it's very deeply carved, nice shading, high contrast. That same pattern goes across the whole bottom of the plate. That has quite a stark contrast with the side plates that have a nice game scene. Not too detailed, but really nicely executed all the same. You know, we're not looking for superb detail. Well, we are, always, but it's a great quality. And the animals look like the animals they're supposed to be. And then you move on to those oak leaf fences. The deep carved, beautiful relief fences with that beautiful pipe border, scallop border down the back there. That is a stunning, stunning thing. Wowee. I love it. You know, obviously English guns are the best, but we've looked at 3 that aren't. And they're all exceptional. My only gripe with it is that it's got a plastic mid-bead put into it, which just feels a little bit sad. Other than that, the taper scholar of everything about this gun is just a nice thing. I'm going to say, 15¼ inch stock. This is a nice gun for a modern shooter. Very, very nice. Something a little different. I mean, it's not quite as nice as this, but it's probably a better user. This is a Wigan Elliott & Co. snap action hammer gun. bar in wood. It doesn't take a lot of explaining other than to say what a beautiful, beautiful thing. Refurb to a fairly good standard. I mean, a lot of this is original, but it's really nicely put together. Rebounding hammers, snap action. And the interesting point on this is, look at this little bar in here as I push the snap lever down. That is all that's holding that gun closed. You know, in the modern world of producing guns that have as much locking and bearing surface as possible, these things always seem a little amusing. But just look at that beautiful wood and metal mixture across this gun. What a stunner, what an absolute stunner. And there's two of these, not a pair, but a composed-ish duo. I think they are going separately, but just what a lovely, lovely machine that is. What a lovely machine. Bar and woods are stunning, everyone can agree on that, and it's the one thing that has evaded my collection all these years, because mostly the ones I can ever afford are well outside of my remit, price-wise, but what a stunner this is. Guys, keep your eyes on the next auction. The catalogue will be online, and as it always is, in bit by bit by bit, they go online as they go live. I've already had a look at a few things that I can't show you, and I've heard of a few things that are coming in. It's going to be another big one. Congratulations if you won. Commiserations if you didn't in this last one. I didn't win anything. Well, I won half a gun. It's kind of good enough. Guys, take care.